Was so stressed out to eat out at restaurants, even once in a week, which stressed her out big time. And right here, my one-to-one client, she did 3 outings in a row. So here's what she did. A little bit of background first. So she just found it so stressful to eat out at restaurants. She would always kind of like meet up with friends as a coffee date or even like a date. She'd go for a coffee, go for a walk, or go to the restaurant and not eat. Say she'd already eaten or she wasn't hungry, so just really avoiding restaurants. She just felt like it was so stressful to, keep in her calorie limit. That restaurant food was just too calorific, it was too indulgent. She just felt super out of control eating out at restaurants. And she really just preferred her, home-cooked foods that were safe. She knew how many calories were in it. She knew that it worked for her. But obviously she knew, in the long term, that's not what I want. I want to be able to go to restaurants and not feel super stressed out. I just want to be like a normal person. So what do we do? So one thing that, as with all my clients and the 30-day reboot, it's all about these small steps that add up over weeks and months to make change. So when I tell this, just bear in mind, this is not an overnight success. This stuff takes a bit of time. But that's okay, because remember, all of this food mess, all of the stress around food took a long time to also build up. So don't expect it to happen overnight. So we started off small and we said, okay, we're just gonna commit once or twice a week. Let's really aim to eat out at restaurants. So just slowly upping the frequency, so slowly, so it doesn't make her freak out and then just want to retreat back into that safe cocoon of I'm always going to eat the foods that I know that I cook myself. Once we're getting a little bit more consistent with the frequency, it was like, okay, now what are we going to choose on the menu? Even when she'd go to the restaurant, it was like, oh, well, I'll just choose a salad without a dressing. More safety, right? Let's expose ourselves to that feeling of discomfort. Choose the thing that's less healthy. Start to choose the thing that you actually want to eat. So it's nothing revolutionary, no rocket science here. It's just being super intentional, conscious about let's make different decisions, small ones that are going to add up and help us face this feeling of fear and lack of safety and start to realize that actually we can handle it. It's actually not that terrible of a feeling. And then we start to do more little small steps like, okay, now don't input, the calorie estimate for this meal. And over time that would build up to we're not even gonna think about the calories for this meal. Other small tasks was like, okay, let's intentionally not try to compensate in any way after this meal. So maybe sometimes she'd go out to the restaurant, eat out, but then be like, oh, now I'm just gonna eat a really tiny dinner, so now it's all okay. So we intentionally, let's not do those things. Because what are we trying to do? We're trying to feel safe eating in a normal way, getting back to that place of normality. Another thing that really helped her, again, super simple, but sometimes you just need these reminders, especially from someone like me who's been in the exact same situation, is you're going to a restaurant. Look, you were gonna eat a meal anyway. You were gonna have lunch. Let's just say your lunch that you were gonna cook at home was gonna be 400 calories, let's say. You eat out at a restaurant, yeah, maybe sometimes it is more indulgent, they're less incentivized to put less oil or less butter or whatever. Let's say that meal is gonna be 650 calories. In your head, I know it makes you freak out. You're like, oh my God, 650 calories, like this is gonna ruin everything, which is not. But it's not 650, like it's not this extra 650. You were gonna have, let's say, a 400 or 500 calorie meal. So really, it's just this extra 150 or so that there's to worry about. Of course, you don't need to worry about, but just it shows that it's not as big of a deal as you probably make it out to be in your head. Something else that really helped her with eating out more is realizing, and this really helped me in my recovery too, was like, everything always works out. Everything balances out. Usually when we're getting into more of an intuitive space, usually pretty subconsciously. What do I mean by this? It's that you ate out, let's say you had this huge meal at the restaurant, 1,000 calories, let's say. Most likely, whether it's conscious or not, you're probably not going to want to eat that big of a meal then for dinner, let's say that same day. And it's not like you're compensating, oh, let me just skip dinner or something. It's literally just physically like, I had a huge lunch. I'm probably not going to crave another huge dinner. Things always balance out. Even physiologically, you have 1,000 calorie meal, your body is going to crave more movement now. So conversely, when you undereat, your body craves less movement. You become more slothish to conserve energy. And just holistically, eating out more means more diversity in your diet. You're more mentally satisfied by food now. You are socializing more. You're getting out. You're seeing the world. You're moving because you're getting your body to that restaurant and back. Like, it just all around is going to enrich your life so much more. Obviously, I worked with this client one-to-one for weeks and weeks, months. So there were other factors that went into this, but in terms of the restaurant situation, this was a lot of what we did. If you want to work with me in a one-to-one capacity, apply in the link in my bio. But everything I also teach, most of it in the one-to-ones, is packaged into my 30-day reboot course. So check that out as well if you want.